Good afternoon, Jenny.
Good morning, Dennis. How
Thank
are
you.
you today?
Very good, and yourself?
Well, thank you. Getting
Good.
excited for Erin's visit.
Yes, not long now, and she'll be over there. Well, I think when this class goes live, you guys will be returning from Fiji.
I think we'll be in Melbourne with doing some classes down there. So Geelong, actually. So that's pretty exciting. And then
Yes.
we're back to Brizzy, and we're doing some classes with the stores here, and then we're off to Swansea in New South Wales. So,
Very, very cool. Very jealous, very envious of the trip. Jenny, before we talk, just so the ladies can get everything together, what sort of tools are they going to need for this class?
okay, so we just need our paper trimmers and scoreboard. So, or something, if you don't have a scoreboard, just a score tool, something that you can create a score line on your paper. So double-sided tape, glue, if that's what you prefer to use. The only other strange thing that we need is something that you can trace that's 3.5 inches, or I think that's 9 centimeters. I did work out that if you the top of like a coffee cup is around the right measurement. Okay, so we just need to be able to put it on our paper and trace around it to make that. So that was 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters. Apart from that, just like post-it notes, something to label your pieces of paper with.
Great.
Just and a pencil to write with. So I think that's about all we need.
Great. I just realized I haven't got the post-it notes yet, so I'm just going to grab that, but I'll do that when we start. Yeah. So you say you guys have been having some early spring weather that side?
It's been getting quite warm during the day, but we've had still having some like really cool mornings here. And I know down south it's been very cold over the last couple of days. They've also said that the El Nino, I think it's called, is still active in Australia or active in the world. I don't know if it is everywhere. So we're going to have a wetter than normal spring and summer. So something to look for.
Oh, that's good. Great.
Yeah, I mean, normally it's strange. I think they're saying this is like the 3rd year that we've had it, and it's normally doesn't last, it's usually just the 1 year. So
okay, yeah, because you guys have been very wet the last summer. Hey, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
It's all very interesting. So yeah.
Awesome. But Jenny, putting you on the spot here, do a little, what did you think of the Blessed Life collection, working with it?
I really love these colors. They're my colors. I know you say that, like the autumn colors. So the oranges and the olive greens and the peachy reddy sort of colors. I'm not normally red, but it's not red. It's
So this collection is definitely, and I learned this from this color from Glenda Fullion when we worked together. But this is coral. This is coral. Coral. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not red. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But it's coral. Well, salmon is that that's probably the closest, if it's a dark salmon.
Yeah, I'm still a guy, so it's orange, and I've learned that there is a shade of orange that's coral. I haven't quite gone to salmon yet.
Okay, and I really like the olive greens. So yeah.
Yeah, and so I think our printers are doing quite a good job with getting the colors quite vibrant. The blacks are so deep and rich, which is really nice as well.
And I really like the distressed Hessian look that you've got on here as well. Like you've really stepped your game up in terms of design and making the backgrounds have a multi-dimensional depth to them. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So
great.
And it was as much as I loved Hugs and Kisses, it's quite pastel, so I really like the stronger colors. So yeah, I really enjoyed working with this one.
So it's quite interesting working with different people, but like that Hugs and Kisses was just so Juliet. Like you just get to know like what they, and you know, with this one, for instance, I'm like, okay, no, this one is so Jenny.
So you have to alternate your collections now. One for Juliet.
One for Jenny, sure.
I've had quite a few people, you know, say to me, oh, can you ask Dennis to design something in these colors or whatever? So we need more blues, thanks. We'll have some blue collections. Yep.
So the next collection that's coming out is actually one of our sort of, what's it, monochromatic collections, which is on really, really deep blues and purples shades. Nice. So that's called Starry Night, and I'll actually give you a quick little.
Yes, please.
We received all the paper yesterday, so just a quick look at.
Oh, nice. Love that.
Yeah. So it's called Starry Night, and it's basically a second version of the Stargazer. That's it. It's on a different color palette, slightly different. These are definitely deeper colors, but similar sort of theme going through there. And that was our most popular collection ever, and we still get requests for that frequently, even though it's about three years old now. So
I really like that collection. Oh, Juliet gets that one. That's not fair.
Actually, when Erin saw it, she said Juliet's gonna love this one. So that was her first reaction to it. So we'll see. But I mean, yeah, you have to have some sort of punishment for being in Fiji and Melbourne and Sydney. keeping my wife for 5 weeks.
We will send her back, not like the UK. We won't keep her.
When you send her back, I'll give you another collection to work with.
Okay, and you'll make a pastel for me, won't you?
There we go.
Okay, I'm sure these people want to get started. So do you want me to do a quick walkthrough of the layout?
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sorry, I'm just going to change my camera. Okay, make sure everyone can see everything. I'll just move my mouse out of the road. Okay. Okay, so is that bright enough, Dennis? Is that looking okay for you?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, no problem. So on this side, got like a double flip. So flip and flip again for our photo underneath. Okay, this side opens up here. Now what I've done with the chipboard, it's actually showing up a lot on here. I've just used one of these glimmer pens. They're just like a water pen and they've got a little bit of glitter in it. This one's a Nuvo one. I know quite a few companies make them and it's just like water, but it's got a touch of glitter in it. So it's I've just touched the chipboard with a little bit of that. Okay, so then this lifts open here and flips again. And then we've just got like a little slide insert that comes out here, reveals a photo underneath. It's up here. Lots of really lovely images. I've used the ribbon, I've used the acetate. Okay, and then on this side, this lifts up here, it's a flap. You can actually tuck this in under the image there as well to keep it closed, but it flips open and then this whole page turns. This part here also flips out. And then in under here, there's a pocket, this pulls out. And this is the chipboard from the collection.
Jenny, I've just got to say that chipboard, the way you've used it there is beautiful, stunning. Well done.
Thank you, Dennis. And yep, that's the end there. So I guess we can get started. Just need to get myself organized. I just put my layout on my collapsible bin. Did not go well. Okay. So that's all right. That's not too annoying over there for anybody.
No,
Right.
and the good news is we've all just seen your unlock screen passcode for your iPad there. So.
Perfect. Okay. Good work.
So don't bring it with to South Africa because it will disappear.
Oh my goodness, they're a bit of a worry. I need something to stick these on. Okay, so we're just going to work through cutting the papers in order. So if you just need to get yourself organized, you've got your paper trimmer, papers, post-it notes, paper clips if you have some, they're quite helpful. Okay, so what we're going to do is cut the first sheet. It's 7801 overjoyed. We're just going to trim the barcode off to start with, or the branding strip. So don't forget to not throw these away. These are much nicer to cut, Mr. B. I like that. So, yep, just keep all of these. I did use quite a few of them. So this is in the directions. So we've just trimmed the barcode off. So what we're going to do is turn it all the way right round. So this is where the barcodes come off. We've turned it all the way around. And we're going to cut this at 11 1/4. So we're taking it off the top. So it's 11 1/4. By 12. So that little bit, that 3/4 has come off the top. So it's 12 inches wide by 11 1/4 tall. So we did that by turning it this way, cutting it off the top. And we're going to label this one A1. That's all we're going to do with it. So 12 inches by 11 1/4. And this is an offcut, this piece. We're not going to use that. That over to one side. Okay. Taking a whole brand new sheet of paper. So 7801 overjoyed. This is the second sheet of this paper. So what we're going to do, turn it, trim the branding strip off and leave it in our trimmer in that direction. We've left it this way. We're going to slide it across and we're going to cut it at 7 inches. Okay, so 7 inches. So this piece is 12 by 7. So we turned it, we cut it at 7. And we're going to call this one A2. 12 by 7, A2. So the piece that was left on the bottom automatically is 5 inches wide because we've cut 7 off. So we're going to turn it round sideways. So back the way that it went. So the main piece of the pattern is along the bottom. We're going to cut it at 6 inches. Just cutting it in half at 6. We've got 2 pieces that are 6 by 5. Okay, so we're ready to label. So we've got A3 and A4. Okay, so this was the piece that came off the bottom. So that's 12 by 7. And we had the 5-inch strip, which we've cut in half at 6. Okay. So then what I like to do is just clip all my A pieces together. Just makes it a little bit easier later on when we're looking for pieces. Okay. All right. So we're hunting in our pile for the next sheet of paper, which is 7802 Jubilant. So we're going to trim our branding strip off to start with this one. So again, we're going to keep these. So what we want to do is just turn it to this side. So we've got the design on the right. So we're going to start off. So we've turned it around. The barcode, oh, sorry, I just need to trim a little bit of extra white off here. Okay, so that's where our barcode was on the bottom. We've turned it back around. We're going to cut it at 6 inches. So this piece with the flower on it is 6 by 12. I'm going to hunt through. We've skipped a few letters. We're calling this one B3. Okay, so this piece on the right, 6 by 12, B3. So what we want to do here with this one is we want to narrow it down. Nothing on the other side, but I want to keep a lot of the pattern. So I'm going to cut off this way. So to do that, I'm just going to turn it around. So we want to cut off, not the dots on this side, and we're going to measure it to 5.5 inches. Okay, so we've cut that down. We've narrowed it to 5.5. This piece, 1/2 inch, is an offcut. Now we're going to turn it around. So we're measuring from the dot. We've got that up there. We're going to measure 9.5. We're measuring from the dot 9.5. So what this gives us is, remember we cut it to 5.5 wide, 9.5 tall, and this piece down the bottom then automatically becomes 5.5 by 2.5. So we've got 2 pieces out of that sheet. Okay, so this one becomes B1 and this one is B2. Okay, so remember we cut 6 inches. This piece we narrowed down to 5.5. Then we cut it into the 2 pieces, 9.5 and 2.5. We all good? You're doing okay pace-wise? Dennis, you going okay?
Yep, keeping up.
Okay, awesome. All right, we're going to take another new sheet of paper. This is also 7802 Jubilant. Love this design. Done a very good job. Okay, so what we're going to do is trim the branding strip off and leave it in that direction. Trim that off. Actually, what I'm going to get you to do is flip it over to the other side. So all I did was this, we trimmed the branding strip off and we've just flipped it to this side. We're going to measure down 10.5 and cut this bottom piece off. Okay. So this piece becomes 12 by 10.5. And that's B4. Okay. So this piece here is an offcut. You can just get rid of that. And we're just going to put all our B pieces back together. Just clip them all so they're easy to get to. Okay. We almost dropped it on the floor. Okay. Next, we'll be working on this beautiful florals. It's got like a really nice graph paper. Is that what you'd call it in the background? Very nice. Okay, we are going to trim off the branding strip and then keep it in that same direction. Actually, no, what we might do, we're going to turn it, sorry. So we've trimmed off the strip. We're going to turn it around this way. Okay. We're going to measure across to 7.5 inches. So 7.5 inches. Cut through. So this piece is 7.5 wide. We're going to turn it to and cut it at 10.5. We need both of those pieces. So it was 7.5 wide. Need to find my piece. That's 7.5 by 10.5. And the bit that's on the bottom will automatically become 1.5. So we cut it through 7.5, turn it 10.5, 1.5. We're going to call this one C1. And this guy is C2. Okay. Okay. So we were left with this piece, which is 4.5 inches wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to, while it's tall, we're going to cut it at 2.5. So we've got 2.5, and this piece automatically becomes 2. So just put the 2 aside. So this is the 2.5 inch piece. I'm going to turn it and cut it at 9. So it's 2.5 by 9. This bit here is an offcut. And this is C3. Then remember we had the 2-inch strip left. Okay, so now we're going to turn this around and cut it at 6.5. So it's 2 by 6.5. I'm going to call this one C4, and this is an offcut, this piece here. So 2 by 6.5. Okay. All right. So now we're going to start on a brand new sheet. Once again, 7803. So we're going to cut our branding strip off. Then just turn it so it's facing up the right way. This is where it's come off the bottom. Cut that off, turn it back this way. We're going to cut it at 7 inches. So 7 inches. Going to take our 7-inch piece. We're going to turn it and then cut it at 7. So we'll have a 7 by 7. Seven by 7, and this makes this one 7 by 5. Okay, so let's do some labeling. So this one is C5, and this one is C6. Did you find some post-it notes, Dennis? You did? Better than last time? Are they sticky?
Yeah, they're working well.
Okay. I remember your disaster last time. Okay, so we've got those two pieces. And we were left with this 5-inch piece. Okay, this is from the first cut. So what we're going to do with this one, it's 5 inches wide. We're going to turn it around. We're cutting at 5.5. So it was 5 wide by 5.5 tall. Okay, so this, we're just going to leave this piece here for a second. So it was 5 wide, we've cut 5.5, and we're going to call that one C7. Okay. Now this piece that we had left here at the moment, it is 5 by 6.5. We just need to narrow the width down to 4.5. So it's 4.5 by 6.5. And we need to label it C8, but for some reason I don't have a label. So let's see what I can find. Ugh. C8. C8, there we go.
So Michelle van Wyk started this, but she always writes Celebr8, our company, as C8 if she posts anything. Yeah. So if anybody took the C8 label, it was Michelle van Wyk.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes. Okay. So then we had this little, we cut this off the side. That's an offcut. I'll just blame Michelle. Okay, so that is all of our C pieces. So we're just going to do a clip on them. Just drop them all so they're all out of order. Okay, there it is. That's all right. I was just going to blame you for stealing my paper clip. Because you South Africans pick things up like that, don't you? I can see you laughing.
Yeah, Jenny, you know us too well, especially me. If a pen goes missing in this house, it's me. I collect pens. So I start the year with like 2 and I end the year with like 20.
Have you ever been to any? Oh, you've been to my classes, haven't you? Where
Yes.
I wander around with random pieces of paper going, oh, I'm trying to give it to people, and I picked it up on someone's desk. That's, yeah, I'm notorious for it.
And I mean, you've been to South Africa, what, 3 or 4 times now, so you've probably picked up our ways.
Yes, probably. I think that was already a trait that I had, though. But anyway, pretty bad. All right, next sheet of paper. Sorry, I better tell you what it's called. This one is 7804 Elated, and I really, really love this. So nice. Look at that. Oh, yummo. Okay. So we're going to trim off the branding strip. We're putting it in our keep pile. So now we're going to turn it back on its side so the lines are going across the page. We've turned it back the right way. We're going to cut through at 6.5 inches. Okay, so 6.5. Okay, so we have 6.5 by 12 and 5.5 by 12. And my favorite people, D1 and D2 Notice that you're still the fatter one.
I was actually just going to comment on that. So you always make me the fat one. I'm going on a diet. Point taken, Jenny, point taken.
It just worked out that way. Sorry. Okay, so 6.5, which automatically makes this one 5.5. Okay, so then we're going to take a second sheet of that paper, 7804 elated. Okay, so this time we're going to trim the barcode strip off and leave it in our trimmer in that direction. Okay, so which should mean that this time the lines are going vertically in your trimmer. So we're going to slide it across and cut it through at 8.5 inches. 8.5. So this makes this piece 12 by 8.5. And we're going to call this one D3. Oop. Okay, so 12 by 8.5. So the piece that's left is automatically 3.5 inches wide. So we're going to turn it around. We just need to shorten it down a bit. So we're going to cut it at 10.25. So 10.25 inches. Okay, so it's 10.25 by 3.5. This one is D4, and this piece is an offcut. Okay, we all good? Okay, so we can clip our D pieces together. Okay. Alrighty, ready for our next sheet. Okay, so this paper is 7805 Gleeful. So we are going to turn it sideways, trim off the branding strip and leave it in the trimmer in that direction. So we've trimmed our strip off the bottom. We're leaving it facing that way. We are going to slide it across to 10.5 and cut it through. Okay, so we'll just turn that around. Now it's facing the right way. So it is 12 by 10.5. And this one is E1. Okay. So remember, we put it into our trimmer. This is the top of the paper. We've measured across, we've cut 10.5. It's 12 by 10.5. And we have this little bit left on the bottom. Let me just make sure I've got it going the right way. Is it this way? Okay. And this piece we're going to measure across and cut it at 8.5. It's already 1.5 inches wide. So all we need to do is shorten it down and cut it at 8.5. Call this one E2. And this piece is an offcut. Okay. So this is the second sheet of that paper, 7805 Gleeful. I'm going to trim off the branding strip. And then just turn it so it faces the right way. We're just going to cut it in half at 6 inches. Okay, so there's 6 by 12, both of those. Now, when you put the labels on for this one, it makes it a little easier later on when we go to score. Just pop them up the top so you know that your labels are at the top of your paper. Okay, it'll just make it easier when we go to score. When I say put the top to the left or top to the right, you know exactly which is the top of your paper. Okay, so we've just cut it in half. It's 6 inches. Okay, just get myself a bit organized here. Then we're just going to get all our E pieces together. And just clip them in our pile. Okay. So these 2 sheets, the next paper is called Delighted 7806. I'm using these as the base pages. So we're just going to trim off the branding strip on both of these, both sheets. So one will be F1, so it's still just 12 by 12. And then we'll do the same to the other one. Trim off the strip. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I always, when I trim off the branding strip, I always measure it to 12 inches. Because as you can see, sometimes you actually, if you just trim off the barcode itself, there is a little bit extra. So the paper is sometimes slightly bigger than 12 by 12. So when you trim it off, always just measure, not just follow the line on the branding strip. Okay, so they're just 12 by 12, F1 and F2. I will just clip them together because I have a spare clip here. Okay, now, the first of our cut apart pieces. So this one is 7807 Wonderful. Now, I didn't actually use any of these in the construction part, but I did use them to embellish the layout. So what I want to do, I'll just get you to cut them into all their pieces, just so we've got them on hand. Okay. So when I cut these, I always just chop that white line off. So is Erin looking forward to coming over, Dennis?
Yeah, no, she is. She's very excited, and she's also very sad at the same time to be leaving the kids in particular after being gone for 6 weeks. But
yeah, that must be hard. Yes.
so that is a bit hard, but she loves Australia and Brisbane in particular, and she really enjoyed Swansea with Carol the last time. She's excited to go back and see them, and then obviously, just familiar faces having been over. I think Erin's been there 4 times.
I think so. Yeah. because there were 2 shows and then 2 times without shows. I know there's so many people here that are looking forward to seeing her and excited that she's coming back. So yeah, we've missed our overseas visitors from South Africa.
Yeah, oh, it was the same here. That's why it was so nice having you out earlier in the year. Like, yeah, just COVID and all of that sort of, well, not behind it, but yeah, sort of easing up.
Good. And this is the collection that Erin's using in her class when she's over here. So I'm really excited. I've seen some sneak peeks and it looks really nice. So I'm very excited to see it, what she's done.
Yeah, so she's done 2 really good double layouts with the pack. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you haven't booked into a class, there is still time. You can still in.
And like I think you said earlier, it's the first time we're going down to Melbourne sort of area.
We're going down to Melissa, to Geelong to see the scrapbookers down there. So that's really exciting.
And then in the Brisbane area, we're going to all the sort of regulars, A Place to Create, Shelley's Land, Barbie, sort of.
And we're going down to Karen's, the Stampers Hut. Yep. And then we've got Bella Rose Creative Studio. She's got a group of ladies that are coming along. So yeah.
What's that? 5 different venues in the Greater Brisbane sort of area.
We're very lucky here. And then we've got Jody at Created by You at Burpengary. So we're going there as well. So yeah, lots of ladies are booked in and are very excited. So yeah, be good for Erin to see everyone again. Okay, so I've just clipped all those together. Like I say, I do use them on the layout. So you will, but we may not get to put them down anywhere today, but just if I need them, we've got them. Okay, have you finished cutting, Dennis?
Yeah, I'm finished.
You're finished? Okay. Okay, we need to talk about this. Come on.
So,
I have to make some hard choices. This is not fair.
When Erin saw it for the first time, she's like, oh, you're going to be in trouble.
You are in massive trouble, Mr. Bruton. Anyway.
Can I be honest with you? That sheet that you see now that's facing up was the very last sheet I did. I was like, what do I was just like rattling my brain, like, what do I do just to get all the sheets together? And so this was like the very last one I did. So I just thought it's like, oh, it's just this random sheet. But it actually printed really nicely and it was a stunning piece of paper.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, just don't do this again. All right?
Sure.
You've been told. Okay, so we're going to
Jenny, before you go on, it might be repeated one more time, but I won't do it again after that.
Oh, really?
I've already printed the next collection. I thought it was a good idea, but anyway, I won't do it again after.
Okay, you're forgiven. Okay, so it's called Privileged to Know You. Okay, so we're going to trim off the barcode strip. Okay, so once again, we're going to just cut it into all the pieces first up, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do with it. So just cut it into all the bits, individual pieces. Okay.
Jenny, one of the design team members, when they saw the pack, I think it was actually Juliet, she said, "Now, Dennis, this is my type of mixed media. You do it for me in the design."
That's very true. Although I don't have it with me, but the stencil is really nice in this collection too. Did I bring it in with me? I was sure I had it, but anyway.
Well, here's one here on my side.
Yeah, I really love it. I probably would have used that. Okay, sorry, back to regular programming. This is the large, the 8x6 block. So we're going to label that one as G1, and we'll put that in our pile of pieces. Now, let me see. The one that has the tags on the back, this one. So just turn them over. I use those tags as to embellish the layout, so I cut them all out. So you will need, that's the side you'll need of that one. I used this side of this one, so you can pop that one to one side. I used these on this side, and I used this one on this side, and this last one, which has the tickets, but I used this side. Okay, so just so you know what you're doing with those pieces. Okay, so we have one last sheet. This is 7809 Lucky. Okay, so what we're going to do is trim off the branding strip and leave it in that orientation, so sideways. Okay, so we're going to scoot it across to 9 inches. So 9 inches, and cut it through. Then we're going to turn it back around. We've cut it at 9. Turn it sideways and cut it at 10.5. Okay, so it's 10.5 by 9. And then the last piece is 1.5 by 9. I'm going to call it H1 and H2. Okay, so we cut it at 9 to start with. Then we've turned it, cut it at 10.5, which gives us these 2 pieces. Okay, we'll just pop them over there for the minute. And we're left with a 3-inch strip. So this was off the bottom from the first cut, and we're just going to cut that at 6 inches. 6 inches, just to make sure it's the same. You just tiny little bit comes off the edge, and that's an off cut. Sorry. 6 by 3. So that one's H3, and this one is H4. Okay, so they were the H pieces that we've got. Okay, so let's just clip them all back together. Okay, so we've done all of our cutting, so we can pop that away and then take out your scoreboard or whatever you would like to use to score with. going to move this or I'm going to trip on it. I know. Just going to have a quick break. Okay, we organised? We ready to go? Okay, so the first piece we're going to score is H1. Okay, so out of the H pile, we're going to grab H1. So the 10.5-inch measurement is across the top and the 9-inch measurement is down the side. And we're just going to score this one at 10 inches. Okay, so 10 inches.
Jenny, the back doesn't really matter, hey, because it's got almost 2 patterns on the back. Just
asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you put your label on,
okay,
that indicates that your that's the way that your paper should face.
Okay.
Actually, it doesn't really matter though. Okay, so we can pop our H pieces back together. Then we're going to take our G1 piece. Our G1 piece. We're going to score this one at 6 inches. 6 inches. So your 8 inches across the top and your 6 inches is down the side. Your words should all be going up the right way. Okay. So we want to grab our E for egg pile. We're going to start off with E4. Now remember when I said to you E4, making sure this is the top. Okay, so we're going to put the top to the left here. So that means our measurement, we're measuring from the top. So we're going to score at 4.5 and 5. Okay, so the top is to the left, measuring 4.5 and 5 for our score. Okay, so the measurement, it's 4.5 from the left, 5 from the left. So you've created 2 scores. Okay. That was our E4 piece. Then from the same pile, we're going to take the E3 piece. Now remember, this was the top of the page where we put our label. This time that's going to go to the right. Okay, so we've got the top to the right. And we're going to score the same measurement. So 4.5 and 5. Making sure this time that the top is to the right. Okay. Then we're going to take our E1 piece. So now this piece, the 12 inches is here and the 10.5 is down here. Your words should be facing up the right way, like you're reading a book. We're going to score it at 7 inches. So 7 inches is our score for this one. Okay, so when we've done that, we're going to put all of our E pieces back together. just so it's easier to find the pieces when we want them. Okay, we've got our D pile. We're going to start with D3. So we've got the 12 inches across the top, 8.5 down the side. We're scoring this one at 7 inches. 7 inches for this one. Your line should be going across the page. Okay. Then we're going to take D2. Okay, we're putting it in this tall orientation and we're scoring it at 5 inches. So 5 inches. For D2. Okay, then we're going to take D1. This one we're scoring it at 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch for this one, for D1. Are you finding it easier this time having Erin's scoreboard?
So much easier.
If you're going to do a lot of these layouts, it's definitely an investment that is worthwhile.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're just going to pop these all back together. Here's D4. Put them all. Then we're going to take our C pile. The first one we're going to score is C5. Okay, so C5 is a square. So if you have a look at it, this is why I always put my label like up on that top edge so you know which is the top. Okay, so it should be facing up the right way. You could probably tell from your flowers which is the right way if you haven't labeled it that way. So what we're going to do is score this one twice. We're scoring it at 1/2 inch and then at 6.5. Okay, so 1/2 inch and then 6.5. Okay. Then we're going to take C1. Okay, so we've got the 7.5 across the top, 10.5 down the bottom, and we're scoring it down at 1/2 inch. Okay, once again, it should be facing up the right way. 1/2 inch. Okay, so we can just clip all our C pieces back together. If you prefer to keep your scored pieces separate, you can do that. Okay, so from our B pile, we're going to take B4. So this one, the 12 inches is going right across the top, 10.5 down the left. We've got the pattern on the right. We're going to score this one at 4.5. 4.5. For some reason, this isn't sitting flat. Okay, so that's all we're doing with our B papers. So from our A pile, we need to start with A2. So the 12 inches right across the top. This one we're scoring at 6 3/4. Just need to move my label. 6 3/4. For A2. Then we're going to take A1. This one has 2 scores. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch. I always put my labels on the wrong spot. And 6 1/4. So 1/2 inch and 6 1/4. Okay, and that's our last bit of scoring done. So I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes just to get yourself organized, pop all your pieces back together. It's just really helpful if you can find your pieces easily. So we don't need our scoreboards anymore.
Jenny, this is obviously the first time we doing this class, broadcasting it on a Sunday. So it'd be quite interesting to see what people think, if they prefer the Sundays or the Saturdays. So maybe just comment below and let us know which you prefer, Saturday. I know probably for New Zealand people, it's a bit of a late one on a Sunday, but yeah, a lot of people work on a Saturday, so maybe a Sunday works better.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to find out. So it'll be Sunday morning in South Africa, won't it?
It'll be a Sunday morning. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. No, it will be interesting. So yeah, it'd be good to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Sounds good. Okay, we ready to start?
Yes.
So we need whatever we are using, glue, tape, whatever you prefer. So the first piece we're going to need is A1. Okay, we're going to start with that. So we need to turn it to this side, which means that we've got to score down this side here. So I always like to just fold the score. There's actually two scores on this piece of paper, but at this stage we're just we're concentrating on this narrow score down the edge of the paper here. Okay, so we're turning it to the side that has the larger pattern, which means this 1/2 inch score is down this edge. So we're just going to put our tape or glue down there. So there's our 1/2 inch score. It's just going right down there. Then we just need one of our background pieces. So let's start with F1. Okay, so like I said, I'm using this side as the base for the layout. So with this one, it's a flat fold. Okay, so we're not folding it to the back, it's a flat fold. So we're going to remove our tape backing. So here's our tape just on that edge there. And we're going to put it down over on this edge. And it's about 1/4 inch. So you want the same distance top and bottom as you do from the side. Okay. Okay, so, and then it will fold all the way right over like that. It will stick out the side here, so don't stress about that. And then what we'll do is we'll just fold it along the second score line. So it'll flip this way, it will fold right out. Okay, we all good with that? So then we need to go to our pile D, our D pile. And we're looking for piece D1. So that's this one. D1. Like I say, I always just like to give it a fold along the score line first. Create that fold. Okay, so then we're going to turn it to the Hessian side. Okay, so there should be a score line down this side here. And we're putting our tape down that side there. So that's where the score line is. And we put it on the Hessian side. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to fold that to the back. Okay, so we folded it along the score line. So the part with the Hessian is at the back there. Okay, so what we're going to do then is attach it. So we've got this on the left, it's going to attach right on this right-hand side. So I'm just going to turn it for ease. We're going to go right up. Sorry about the top of my head there. Okay, so we've attached it right on that right side. Okay. Okay, back to our pile of pieces, and we're looking for our E pile next. So out of here, we want to find E1. Okay, as always, I'm going to start off just folding it. So if your pieces are a little bit skew, you can line them up and then score them, burnish them so they're nice and straight. Okay, fold them on both ways. Okay, so we're going to turn it to the darker side and see the score lines there. So this section here is narrower than there, and this is the section we're going to put the tape on. So it's to the left of the score line. There's your score there. Okay, so what we're going to do is fold this section to the back. Okay, so it's folded to the back, the part with the tape on it. We're going to open our layout all the way right open. You can even open that if you like. So this section with the tape on the back is going to attach down here. Now you just want it just slightly to the right of this fold, so this can close over the top of it. You don't want to go over the top of that, okay? And you want it centered top and bottom. So it's going to flip open like that. Okay. There's just ever such a slight little gap between those two pieces. You can see just there, it's the tiniest bit. You want this to sit nicely over the top. Okay. Okay, so now we're looking for piece B3. So we're going to go to our B file. We're going to find B3. Okay, this piece is not scored. It's not going to be a flap. It's just going to attach down. So we want this side up. So we're going to put our tape on this back piece here. Please don't complain about putting tape on the pretty side. It has two pretty sides. If you want to have that side up, you can. It's all good. Okay, so what we want to do is attach this here. So we want to cover. So see how you've got your score line there, and then you've got that 1/2 inch white section. This is actually going to attach over the top of that white section, just to the left of that score line. You still want it to be able to close nicely. And you will have an ever so slight gap between these two pieces here. But later on, I use one of the border strips to cover that little space there. Okay, so we're going to attach this piece down completely. So this is where, when I say to you, I cut off the strip on the bottom of the page, I always measure to 12 inches. Then you're guaranteed that all your papers are going to line up along the bottom. Okay, if you just cut off the strip, some pieces may be longer than others. Okay, so we've got this closing, and this one's stuck down here. And like I said, there is a gap here, which we'll cover up with one of the, like one of these strips later on. How are we going, Mr. B? You're all good? Okay. So now we're looking for piece C. C, we're going to go through our pile, C6. C5, 8. There it is there. C6. So what I did with this piece is I've actually turned it on its side. So just work out which way looks the nicer. So we're putting the tape on the graph side. Squares, grid, whatever you want to call it. We might need a measurement for this one. Let's see, what did I say? 2.5 down from the top. So about there, 2.5, and 3 3/4 in from the right. The good thing about this is you have lines that you can use. So I'd probably just go to the nearest line and stick it down. Get rid of that. Here's the page that we're working on, just so you get a bit of an idea of what's kind of happening there. Okay, we're just going to pop this to one side for a minute, and we're going to take piece C5. And what we want to do is turn it to this side. It's not showing up great in the camera. This is where we need our template. Just discovered that this coffee mug's about 3.5. So you just need to center it in your piece of paper. I think from memory, it's about 1 3/4 inches in from each side and about the same top and bottom. You kind of just want it in the center. So that's about right. Then you're just going to use your pencil and just trace a circle around. Okay, so this is your 3.5 inch circle. So it's up to you how you prefer to cut things out, whether you want to use a craft knife, which I think I've conveniently dropped on the floor. We don't use the centerpiece, so if you just want to use scissors and cut it out, that's fine. What I could do is start it off with my craft knife. And then just go in with your scissors, whatever you find the easiest. Okay. Like I
Jenny,
said,
you know what I really like is you design something like the chipboard, just a circle around it. You have no real reason for it, and then seeing like what people do, because I think what you've done here with the chipboard is just really cool.
Thank you. So if you want to double check before it's just designed so that chipboard just goes around the outside. Obviously, it'll be on this side. So you don't have to worry about rubbing out your pencil lines because that'll be on the other side. But you just want to make sure that your chipboard piece will attach. So obviously you need to glue it. So you need a little bit of the edge showing, which it will. But we'll do that later. We won't do it now because it's going to get a bit of rough and tumble sticking down. So have you finished with your circle, Dennis?
Yeah, there it is.
Perfect. Okay, so before we start, so let's just make sure we've got it facing up the right way. So we're just going to turn it back to here, and we're going to run a strip of tape between the two score lines, just on that bottom edge. So make sure that's the bottom of your circle, just between the two score lines. So just along that bottom edge, just up to the score lines. Then we'll turn it.
Jenny. So with the score lines on the side,
Yep, these score lines, sorry, I'll actually
running. Oh, that side. Okay. I'm with you.
Yep, sorry.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the score lines are on the side. Make sure they're on the side. And then we're running the tape along the bottom edge, just between the two score lines, because this will be a pocket. So we're just sealing up the bottom edge. Then we're going to put the tape this time on the floral side, just along those two scored edges. Okay, so what we'll do then is fold these to the back, give them a nice burnish. So what you'll have is you'll have your tape folded to the back on the two sides and then along the bottom edge. Okay, so what we're going to do is attach it to this piece, which is, I'll just move this over, E1. So we want it down the bottom here. So about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. No, that's less than 1/4. Maybe, oh no, sorry, 1/4. And then it's about centered left and right. Okay, so what I'd probably do is just take one lot of tape off to start with. It's about 1/4 of an inch up, centered left and right. And then remove one side. Just so you don't get like a bit of a buckle in it. You want it just to come across nicely. There we go. And so this is your open pocket on the top. And then later on when you go to embellish it, you're just going to run a little bit of glue, not in the center, just around the outside. And it's going to attach over the top of your circle there. Just going to move my label back to the other side. Now the insert piece that goes in there is B1. So that's this piece. That's just going to slide into your pocket. So B1 is going to slide into the pocket. Okay. I might just need you to pause this just for 2 secs. Okay, so we've just put our insert in behind the pocket, and the next piece we need is D4. So we're going to go to our D pile, and we're looking for D4, which is this little piece. So it's going to go just on the front here. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to get D4 and we're sticking it onto here. So we're going to put the tape on the Hessian side. See, I wanted Dennis to take the class, see? So he was supposed to pick up the teaching then, but obviously he wasn't playing games.
Dennis is just amused at certain pronunciations that we do differently between countries.
Okay, so what do you call it? Hessian? No?
Hessian.
No, that sounds weird.
No, Hessian sounds weird to me.
Okay. What are you, Hessian?
Hessian.
Hessian. Oh, okay. All right. So we're going to put it here. So actually, before we stick it down, I will just quickly show you. We need it to be in just a little bit because later on, we're going to attach this border strip down the side as well. So we are just putting it in about 1/2 inch. So just enough to allow us to put that in, and then centered top and bottom. Actually got the piece there to do it with. Okay. So it's about 1/2 inch in from that edge. And this is the D1 piece. Yeah, about 1/2 inch in. Okay. So what we need now is piece H1. So this has got a score line on it. So I'm just going to fold it along the score. Finish it. Okay, so we've got a 1/2 inch score here, and that's where we're going to put the tape on the striped side. It's a bit hard to see, but the tape is along this scored edge here. And then what we're going to do is fold it to the back. Okay, so we put the tape on the stripe side, and we folded that section to the back. And we're going to attach it over the top here, right up against that right edge, centered top and bottom, right up on that edge. Okay, so it flips open like that. Give it a nice little burnish down there. Okay, then we're going to take piece C3. So C is our floral. C3. And like we did before, see how we've got this section here? This is going to go over the top of that, and it will overlap D4 just slightly. Okay, so we'll stick this whole piece down. Not scored, it's just a flat piece. So it should line up with the top and bottom. It's the same height as this piece, which is H1. Make sure you don't go over the score. You need this piece to still be able to flap open and closed. Okay, so now we're looking for piece E2. So E2 is just this little piece. What we're going to do is put it over here, just on the black dot, just so it lines up with that center line there. Okay. So Dennis, you know how badly Mr. Qantas has been treating all of his, or how bad his service has been.
Yes.
So he's just announced, did you hear? He's announced he's giving all of his Qantas frequent flyer members $50.
Oh, that's so sweet. I saw the other day, actually on our news, they said that a bunch of disgruntled ticket holders toilet paper and egged his house.
Oh no, I didn't hear that. So we've got $50 off our next airfare. How exciting.
That should get you, at the current rates, that should get you about 4 kilometers.
Yep. Won't even cover the Uber to the airport. So we've lined this one up with that line in the center.
I don't know if you actually saw, Jenny, sorry. So the Springbok team, the rugby team, was going to Australia last week, and they were at the airport ready to board their Qantas flight, and last minute they said they don't have enough cabin crew.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, so the whole flight was cancelled just to a shortage of cabin crew. Yeah.
No. And that would have been a very like high profile flight to do that to.
Yeah. I think all airlines just seem to be in a mess at the moment.
They do. Okay, so G1 is our next piece. Okay, so it's got a score on it. So I just want to fold it along our score. So then on the back, we're going to put tape just in the section to the left of the score line, just this little area here. This is what happens when people put things on the back of flappy bits. You have to cover it up. Okay, so we've got our part that we're attaching there. Okay, the measurement of this is a bit random, but there is a method in here. So we need to measure in from this right edge 1 1/8. Okay, so when you do that, it should line up with a creamy colored line. 1 1/8. And then 1 1/2 up from the bottom edge. Okay, so 1 1/8. And then you should be able to follow the line that's in the paper. So if you have a look, just that cream line there, that's where I've lined it up to. So the reason the measurement is like that is so later on, it's just so the frame sits in the right place on here, whichever way I put it later. Oh, yeah. Just so we get that lined up in the right spot. Okay. So we've got this flipped back here. Okay, so this is where, remember I said to you to cut up all of those pieces here. We didn't label any of these, but we did cut them all up. So we just need this one here. Okay, so it needs to go on the back of here. We're going to cover this up. Now, just depending on how much you trimmed off before, this may be slightly bigger. You may need to trim a little bit off. Mine looks like it's okay. So when you attach it down, just make sure that you don't go too close to that left edge, because you want to still be able to close it without having any buckling happening. Okay. It's not quite to that edge. Then we just want to cover this area here, and we're going to do that with piece B2. So B2, which is this piece. Now I turned it to the other side, which has the pretty pattern on. So you want to put tape on the plainer side. So when you put this down, you want to just cover the pattern, but you will leave a little bit of the grid showing around on the top and the bottom. So it's in about 1/4 of an inch or so, centered top and bottom. So there is still a little bit of the design showing. Okay, so that was B2. So we're all good. Okay, so that's this side finished. So we're just going to pop that, just keep it close by for the moment. And we're going to take our other background piece. And we're going to find piece D2. Okay, so we're turning, we're going to fold along the score line. Okay, so then we're going to put our tape on the Hessian. Hessian? Is there a sh? Hessian?
No, sure. Hessian.
Hessian. Hessian.
Like a snake. Hessian.
No, it's Hessian. Or if we're American, we can call it burlap. How about we just go with that?
Burlap, sure.
Sure. Okay. All right. So we put that there. Now, like we did before, we're going to fold this to the back. We're folding it to the back, and it's going to go right up on the left-hand side of our base. So we're working on the second page now. So we've got a whole new, I think I labeled this F2, I think it was. Right up against that edge. Sorry about the top of my head. Okay. Folding like that. So then we're just going to do a little crossover from our other page. We had piece H2. So when our pages are lined up, this one is just going to attach flat down there. So just so we've got the continuity from the two pages. We're just going to stick this one down. Okay, so we're going to line it up. Okay, there we go. So this was D2, just in case you're wondering, and then H2 lining up across the pages. Then you can just pop this one away so it's not in the road. Just going to take that off. Okay, how are we going? All good? All right, yep. We're going to take piece B4 now. So B4 is this large one here. So as we're going to do, fold it along our score line. Okay, so we're going to turn it to this side. So this puts the flower cluster on the left here. And we're going to put tape on the section to the right of the score line here. Okay, here's your score line. Okay, so then we're going to open this up. We're going to attach this piece over that white bit. See how it's over that half-inch section of this paper, the wood grain, over the top of that. Attach it there, and it will flip up like that. Okay, centered top and bottom. Depending where you put it, you may end up with a very slight bit showing on the edge there. I'm not going to worry about mine. It's not very much, but you may want to trim it if it bothers you that it's too far over. Okay, so here we go. This whole piece is attached. This flips up. We've got this section here. Just give you a sec in case anyone wants to or who needs to trim. Okay, for those ready to move on, C1 is the next piece that we're looking for. C1. Okay, so it's got a score line. We're going to fold and burnish on our score line. Okay, so we're going to put our tape down on the floral side, down our scored section on the floral side. Okay, once that's on, we're going to fold that to the back. Okay, folded that section to the back. Okay, so this is going to attach, just trying to get this to focus. So see where our score line is there? What we want to do is put it just to the right of that score line. So there'll be a gap here of about 1/2 inch. And then this will flip open. Okay. It's a bit hard to see, and then this will lift up. So you've got 1 page, 2 page. 1. Okay, so C1 is attached to this lifting flap. Clear as mud?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so we're going to flip that over and then that one over there. So we get to the back page here. We're going to take the 2 stripy pieces, so H3 and H4. And we're going to attach both of these pieces down flat. So flush with the top, flush with the bottom. So just down like that. Okay, whoops, this way. So I'm really loving this coral color, Dennis. That's what it is, isn't it? Coral. Okay, and then the top bit up here. Okay. So just make sure once again that you can close this up. You haven't gone too far over. All good. Okay, so C2 is the next piece that we need, and I'm using the grid side. Actually, just got to trim this just a little bit. I've just got a little bit of the barcode showing. Okay, so what we're going to do is just put that down there. We just need a little bit of it showing, so it will overlap the other two ever so slightly. So I know that some people will go, I want to use the pretty side, not the plain side. But as you know, I always do things for a reason. So there's plenty of the insert that goes over the top. There's lots of floral stuff going to be happening. So I think we need the plain with the grid. So that's why I've chosen to use the grid side.
So use whichever side you prefer, but if you use the other side, it's wrong.
I did not say that. Oh, hang on, I'll show you. So if you're tempted to use the other side, it just means like you've got your insert, you've got your floral happening.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can use the floral side if you want to. It's all good. I'm not stopping you.
It's just wrong.
Don't say that. Get me in trouble.
No, but I know. You see, I know you well enough to know what you're thinking.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is just go back to the front to work on some more stuff here. So we're going to take E3 to start with. So this one, E3. Usual story, we're just going to fold along both of these score lines that are here. So there's two of them. So we've got like a bit of a channel happening. Okay, and that's the part that's going to attach to the page. So that's where we're going to put our tape between the two score lines. What I actually, it's hard to see. So what I do is fold it along one score line and get the row, and then just fold it along the other, just so I can see exactly where I need to put my tape. Okay. So you can see there, made our little channel. Okay, so for me, the easiest way to do this, okay, so what we want to do is fold along this bottom score line. Okay, so the first score line you come across from the bottom. So if you look at it from the back, your tape then is flat. Okay, this is upside down. You've got that there. What we're going to do is going to attach on the front here. And if you want a measurement, it's 3/4 of an inch down from the top. Okay, so 3/4 of an inch. Let me just take my tape off. So 3/4 of an inch, centered left and right. Actually, I have one of these really cool rulers. I don't know if anyone else has got something like this, and it just helps keep things nice and straight. Okay. So once you've stuck it down, you'll get a flip up and then another flip up like that. Okay. 1, 2, it's just attached through that little channel on the side. Okay. All right, so then we're going to do the bottom one then. So E4. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. Fold it along both score lines. Okay, then we're going to put tape between the two score lines again. Fold this one so I can see where to put it. Okay, so that's where our tape is, in that little channel section. Okay, so once again, this time we're going to fold it along the first score line that you come to from the top. So when you do that, your tape is on the back like that. Okay, so obviously we're going to line it up with the other one. So I've just tucked this in under. So you want it to line up with the one at the top. I'm going to remove the tape in underneath. Okay, so you've got flip up, up, down, down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did that work out, Dennis?
It did. I'm feeling very impressed with myself. This is quite cool.
Okay.
Well done, Jenny.
So see, we've got it attached top and bottom just by those channels.
You've also got a little gap between the two stamp pages, eh? Well, no, yours line up. Okay, never mind.
At the front, you mean?
Yeah, I've got a little gap,
Yeah,
but it's fine.
That's okay. We add. So when you embellish it, this actually goes over there. So you don't really kind of see. It actually looks like there's more of a gap there in that one anyway. So I wouldn't be too worried about it.
No, thanks.
Okay, so what we're going to do is open it up to, so this is this E3? Yes. Okay, so the top one, we're going to go to this black side here and we're going to put C4 in here. Let me just check and make sure that there is a reason. So I've used the grid side because I put this cluster and the chipboard there. But please feel free to use the other side if you would prefer to use the floral. So it's C4. I have used the grid side. Okay, so this is the top flap and it's about 1/4 of an inch in from the left and the bottom of this flap. Okay. So this was C4. It's about 1/4 in, 1/4 up. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the bottom flap. So E4, we're going to decorate this and we're going to put piece A4 and I'm going to turn it this way and it's going to go up in that top right hand corner. You can use either side, whatever you want. I've chosen to use this one that's got the two tickets here. So up there. So it's taller rather than wider when I stick it down. So as you can see, my label, originally we cut it this way, but I've turned it, go up here. Okay, so it's about 1/4 of an inch in. Stuff that there. So the next piece we're going to put down is this grid piece down here. Just so you know, we can't use the pattern side because it's already on the patterned paper. So the piece we're looking for is C7. So once again, I've turned it on its side so it's wider rather than taller. And it's just going to attach up in that section there. It's just ever so slightly narrower than E3. So this piece is C7. Okay, so just slightly down from the fold. There we go. We're all good. Okay, so we're just going to close this up for the moment. Just pop it to one side. We're going to take piece A2, which is this piece here, A2. It's been scored, so we're going to fold it along the score line. Finish it. Okay, so the tape is going on the bird on this side with the bird to the right of the score line in this area here. Okay, there's your score line. So just to the section to the right. Then we need to find piece D3. Okay, so D3 has a score line on it as well. So we'll just fold that to start with. So what we're going to do is turn it to the burlap side. So the narrower section is to the left. Okay, so you can see that this is the narrower section to the left. So we're going to take piece A2. We're folding the section with the tape to the back. And we're going to attach it in here. Let me just double check. it looks like it's about a quarter of it. So what I've done, I think, is I've just put it in. So this is just to the left of that score line, and it's attached on this right edge here. Centered top and bottom, which mine doesn't look like it is. There we go. Okay. So that will actually go over the top there like that. Okay. So this closes and that flips over the top. Okay, so we're just going to open it for the moment. Now we need piece C8 because Michelle stole my label. Okay, so it's just a really nice little photo mat. So we're going to center it. So remember, here's our score line here. So we're going to center it in there. Okay, so just in that space there. Okay, so I'm just going to take my little sign off there. So this closes and that closes in there. So part of our prep work for the class, which I hope Dennis let you know to do, was to fussy cut one of these strips out. So one of these. So what we need to do is cut it in half. So I'm just going to just grab my paper trimmer. So in half should be about 6 inches. I might just fold and just put a mark. And yep, 6 inches looks pretty good to me. So cut that through. And then just make sure this one might just need a little bit off the side. Nope, they're perfect, both 6 inches. So cut those 2 pieces. Now for this, you need to use like the narrower, this is the 6mm tape, which is fine. Just don't use the big 1/2 inch tape. If you don't have narrower tape, you can just run a bead of glue. So we just want to do this along the straight edge on the back, on the creamy side. Just along the straight edge of both of those. Okay. Okay, so we've done that. So then we're going to go back to our layout. We're going to go right back to here. So we've got H3 and 4. Just going to take my tape off. So we're going to take 1. We're going to line it right up with the top of the stripe. Just attach this one right along the top. And the other one along the bottom. Okay. So then just sort of just give this a little bit of a, not a bend or a crease, just manipulate it ever so slightly, because this is where our little booklet slides in behind and just sits in there. Okay. So it just slides in behind your fussy cut piece. Yep. So that just slides in behind there. Okay. Now this last piece that we've got here, I actually cut out the design on this and then used it as an embellishment cluster on the layout. So you can pop that with your fussy cutting that you can do later. Okay. So basically the layout's done, but I just want to take you through the putting the square wreath onto the other page. Okay, so just grab that. And you should have fussy cut this out as well. Okay, so what we're going to do, the only place we're going to put tape is around this inner square edge. Okay, so just want to put tape just around that inner edge. And over here, just imagine you know where it is going to go. You don't want to put any tape or anything on that cluster. Okay. Okay, so we've done this. Now, this piece needs to open up. And there's a score line here. Okay, so when we put this cluster down, this edge here needs to be just to the left of this here. Okay, because this will lift up over the top or tuck in underneath. So what you need to make sure is this flower here doesn't cross this score line here either. Okay, so that was why we had quite a particular measurement when we stuck it down. Okay, so then you need to have a similar gap top and bottom here. Okay, when you've done that, you can start sticking it down. Okay, so once again, this flower cluster shouldn't go past this score line, and this left edge here should be to the left of this page. Similar gap top and bottom. You don't want this to go over this edge here either. Okay, so when it's all stuck down, this forms a page, and this piece will flip out behind and open up. So you can either leave it on top like that, or you can tuck it behind the cluster to keep it closed.
Very cool, Jenny. I like that.
Okay, we're done.
Really?
Yep, that's it. We're all
Wow.
done except for all of our embellishing and all that fun stuff. So I'll just quickly take you through the layout just to make sure there isn't anything that I've done that's tricky. So like I said to you before, when I did this cluster here, it's just half on the page. And I've cut the chipboard. I've just given it a little touch of gold glimmer over the top.
What product did you use for that gold glimmer?
I just used a, it's called a Nuvo. Oh, I dropped it on the floor. Sorry. This is a Nuvo Midas Touch pen. I know there's a few companies, I know Uniquely Creative have one that's similar. It just puts a gold shimmer. It's water, so when you do it, you just need to be careful that you don't saturate the chipboard too much, but it just dries and it leaves a gold glimmer on it. I just thought it looked really nice on this paper.
Cool, thank you.
That's okay. So I've just used the ribbon that came in the pack, the acetate pieces here. Yep. There's the acetate up there as well. This needs to open in here, ribbon. So these are the border strips that we used, and they're the tags. Remember, we cut them out. This is the other 6x8 piece that we had here. So what I did was I just cut around the leaves and the flowers and just tucked my photo in underneath and turned it on its side for something different, because Dennis won't change the direction of them in the design phase for me. Sorry. Any opportunity to give you a hard time. Yeah, this is the acetate. I've just daubed a little bit of glue behind there.
What glue do you use when you stick your acetate down?
I use glitter glue.
Okay.
The glitter, this one. I always just try to put it behind a solid bit of the writing so you can't see it.
Okay.
No,
could you use Tombow for that?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing.
Okay.
I think someone told me, I think it might have been Erin, that if you actually cover the whole thing with double-sided tape, when you peel it off, you can't see it. So this is the booklet. So here's that cluster.
Oh, clever.
Yeah. So I just put that in there. So that's where that is. If you're looking for it, it's just in that booklet. Just a tip when you cut these, the doilies out, I think I only used half everywhere, so I've cut them in half. Just don't stick a whole one down and then run out at the end. Probably just the only tip that I could give you with that. And on this side, like I say, you can either tuck this in or have it out. I've just gone around the outside of that quote with a black marker just to make it stand out a little bit. And under here, whoops, sorry, we're going a bit crazy. Use the dome stickers, and that's where I put the other floral cluster down that edge there. So the other thing is with this, where did I put those? These here. Actually cut these pieces off. So I think I've used the quote somewhere, and then I've used the actual banner part on the top off with those. That might be something else that you might need to do as well. And then I put this down last, and then there's the bird. This pulls out. Just be a little bit careful when you put it in that it doesn't catch on the chipboard. So just goes through there. I actually didn't decorate the back of this. For some reason I forgot, but you could put more photos, etc. on the back of that.
Yeah.
Later on. There's that other half of one of those of this one. So yep, so that's about it. But we'll be online when the class goes live. So if you've got any questions after class, or you can always send me a message. I'm always quite good at answering reasonably Australian time, obviously, not South African time.
But
So-
Jenny, like as always, but if anybody's joining for the first time, the notes are available free for you to download, and Jenny takes you step by step with all the embellishing. So it's not like it's difficult, just take it step by step. The notes are 72 pages, so don't print them, just have a tablet or computer handy and follow it there.
Yeah, I don't know if you can, you can see too much on here. It's flipped itself upside down, but you know, I have all the photo sizes and where I put all the embellishments. So you get all these instructions are downloadable. So yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you. Your notes are always phenomenal, and anybody who's ever done notes can appreciate how much time that probably takes you. So thank you.
It does take a while, no problems, and thank you all very much.
It's a really cool layout. Thank you. It was
come along. Yeah.
fun.
All right.
Jenny, thank you. You go and well, you go to bed now, but when this is going live, go and enjoy maybe a dinner in Melbourne with Erin.
Yeah, we'll actually be in Geelong, which is about an hour out of Melbourne. So yeah, very nice.
For us in South Africa, there's only really Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth.
Okay. Okay, so you just annoyed all the people from Adelaide and Darwin and Canberra.
Yeah, I don't know. Do people actually live in Darwin? It just sounds like the scariest place ever. Just crocodiles in the sea and jellyfish that kill you. Everything wants to kill you there. So no, it's not a place I want to go to.
Oh dear. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank you very much. Thanks for the class, Jenny, and thank you to everybody who's joined us. And yeah, next month we'll be doing the Starry Night collection, and it will probably be Juliet Corvalori doing 2 double pages for us. So join us again online. This video will be available on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and pause and play and redo the layouts. And a lot of people do actually recreate Jenny's layouts using other Celebr8 collections. Because the paper follows the same format, it's actually doable, hey, Jenny?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the evening, Jenny.
Bye, everyone. Okay.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.